All right, let me stop cursing so we can start this. All right, we're about to start in three, two, one. Wait, don't start yet. I'll tell you when.
All
Don't
right.
start.
All right, you are live now.
What's going on? New gaming orders. We back like they're juggernaut, bitch. We got the Mizzle, brother Nelson on this podcast. Nuke and the Jackster. They were kind of busy today, so we're
Fuck
just
'em.
gonna. You know what?
Damn.
All right. You know what? Shout out to Shin Takuma. We were looking for you to try and get you to fill a spot here. On your knees was kind of busy tonight, so we couldn't get him. So we're just gonna
On your
go
knee.
with
On your
yeah.
knees is always on his knees. Fine,
Oh,
man.
what the heck, yo?
Yo, why
Nelson
does
looked
he?
like he looked like Dawson's son, yo, sitting yoga style, like.
Yeah, I'm on a beach chair right now, yo.
Dude is straight bummed out. Wife beater and shorts.
Mm.
Yo, tell me how my shirt look mad oily and dirty right now, and it's mad clean
Dude,
on
that's
the.
what
Yo,
I
we're
said,
supposed
yo.
to be a professional company.
You
What
look,
is
you
going
look,
on here?
Wait,
you look
so
red
hold on.
hook.
So if we're a professional company, why does Dave got a freaking jersey on with a hat on indoors? Why do you got a beanie on indoors right now?
Because he said my forehead was oily. It's all good. It's all good. All right, but on
Dude,
to the.
Nelson looked straight up red hook bummed out.
Yeah.
All right,
Damn,
but
yo.
hey, let's get on to the topics for today. Now, we got a series. Actually, it's about 4 topics with some subtopics coming towards the end. But the first one I want to tackle, which it's like major news on the internet, is Amazon's acquisition of Twitch TV. Now, we're gonna go around the table and get everyone's thoughts on this, but I just wanted to lead off with, it was the general consensus and the most notable thing that Google was going to embark on this journey to acquire Twitch, and for to some degree, I'm actually glad because all the stupid policies that have been introduced to YouTube would have definitely been imposed on Twitch TV, and now Amazon doing the interception the way that it did. That's Google's fault too. From what I saw on several articles, how they were kind of messing up the deal or kind of had lead feet going into this, and just like Amazon picked up double helix, look at this. I wonder where Amazon is going as a global conglomerate. But I want to give Demizzle the floor and then Nelson. But Demizzle, what are your thoughts on this game breaker, so to speak, with
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I touched on it lightly in my video, but in case you didn't see my video, it's up on the NGO channel and my channel. But what I said was, Amazon has been known to be looking to get into the gaming forum with the acquisition of Double Helix and their release of the Fire TV, which plays video games, and their Fire phones, and now also with the beefier Kindle Fire HDs with the quad core processors and everything. So with this acquisition, it means a lot because they're going to have content right off the jump with Twitch TV, with all those streamers and everything. And I think this is a good thing because, as you said, it keeps it out of Google's hands because Google does own YouTube, and it's going to give Google a run for their money, in my opinion, because I think Amazon is going to use this to get into the social media video aspect of things like YouTube. And if if they do, like, because YouTube right now, I have partnership with YouTube with Machinima, and I upload a lot of stuff. And as it stands right now, YouTube's content ID claim is so sensitive that they'll tag you for background music that's playing in the video game that's a part of the game. And it's not the developer and it's not the publisher that's making these content ID claims. It's like the people that they license the music from. So if Amazon comes off and says, if they do like a YouTube like site with Twitch TV, and if they come off and say, hey, as long as the game as long as the music is featured in the game and is a part of the game, we're not gonna content ID claim your stuff. That's gonna be a huge blow. It's gonna like cause people to be like, if they offer partnerships, I don't have to deal with this hassle. I don't have to do all this video editing to get the music out of the game. I don't have to worry about getting content ID claim. I don't have to worry about sharing my money with these music licensees that have already made their money by licensing the music to the publisher and the developer of the game. So they're double dipping essentially, which I don't agree with. So if Amazon can come in and be like, you know what, we're not doing that. That would be a huge backsmack across Google's face and YouTube because let's face it, uh, the main reason why Google was doing this is because even though YouTube has its own streaming capabilities, nobody really uses that for gaming purposes. Yeah, you can watch a concert on YouTube that's streaming live. Yeah, you can watch conferences, but where gaming goes, that's Twitch TV realm, and they were trying to get that crowd. And now that Amazon has that, YouTube's gonna have to like really watch over their shoulder, like, maybe we should ease up on the content ID claims and take a second look at this, or else they're gonna lose a huge chunk of their constituency.
And you know what? Just to jump in on that, Dave, there's some NFO episodes that some of our audience that from like the Mugen side of the house that they can't view certain videos because of some of the background music. It's like, damn, you're choking some of your independent partners who are trying to get out there, and it's not like we're taking money from these people. Like, for instance, I had some songs from Nightwish in my Third Strike Turbo Mugen edit, right? Like, all those songs, like, I had them way back in the day, like the early videos of when this channel started. Then all of a sudden, little by little, I saw videos deleted. I saw video muted, songs swapped out. I'm like, are you serious? Some early episodes, and some of you Mugen fans that still watch this channel, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You go back to when me and Anomaly were starting this thing, they started fucking everything up. So, like I was saying before, it's maybe a good thing that Amazon took over Twitch, or, bought Twitch. They can pump more money into Twitch, just like Google pumped money into YouTube. But, maybe like Demizo said, if they do it in a different way, hey, Twitch might be the thing to beat when it comes to like streaming. But, not to steal the wheel from you, Demizo, but Nelson, what are your thoughts on this whole shift and what we expected to happen with Google supposedly doing the acquisition, but Twitch pulling the interception with Amazon?
Well, it definitely has shaken things up because of the fact that we all thought in, New Gaming Order that Google had bought out Twitch. So we thought, oh, the licensing was gonna happen. We thought like, the censorship was gonna go down and it was gonna kind of limit us to doing certain things, not allowing us to play certain music or having certain games on in full screen and so forth. But now, because if you realize, I don't know if you guys paid attention, they have already censored the videos on demand for the back catalog archives, where they would censor music or any type of thing of gaming related for however long that duration was. And that was implemented from Google. But now, since Amazon bought the company, are they going to take that out? Are they going to reverse their policy? Are they going to do a new infrastructure? Like, I would like to know these things, and how far is Amazon willing to take Twitch to what kind of level? Because we don't know if Amazon is using it for their own gain. We have no
This is
idea.
true. This is true,
Well,
though.
I got another thing to say about that, and like another thing is that what does this mean for Microsoft and Sony? Because as it stands, Microsoft, the Xbox One, and Sony with the PlayStation 4, they have integrated Twitch functionality, meaning you can stream straight from these consoles to Twitch TV. So, what does that mean for them going forward now that it's been bought out by essentially a competitor?
But you know what? I think with That's a good point, Demizo. I don't foresee that it's going to change anything drastically in the immediate future. You know what I mean? You know, these new consoles, they're dynamic. They're always changing now with these updates. So let's say Amazon does pull a fast one and say, hey, we don't want this supported on your machines, then hey, it's what it is. But I don't think as of right now, because Twitch is important, especially to the fighting game community with streaming Evo and so on and so forth. I mean, that's the platform of choice for MLG. And I wouldn't even say MLG, but like, just some significant, grassroots communities that like, share with the world. Twitch is where it's at, and YouTube is more for archiving. So I would think that hopefully it doesn't change the whole landscape of
And
affect like gaming, because Nelson is the main guy for our company that utilizes the Twitch. You know what I mean? And we have 3 sub channels, but we use new gaming orders stuff. So hopefully it'll help out a little bit. I mean, variety is a good thing. And remember what I always said. Hey, like, as much as me and Demizo go in on Nintendo, I would hate for Nintendo to go away, because you need that diversity in the market. So you need the diversity with the streaming, and so like I think Google, just like what happened with Bell Atlantic before they got busted up into Verizon and all this stuff, other stuff. Google is on the manifest destiny, trying to soak up everything. So hey, it's good that you Google didn't get it. You already got YouTube. Let somebody else have some time to eat. But that's all I
and
got to say on that.
one last thing is like from a hardware perspective, where does this put companies like Elgato and AVR Media, because their portable capture devices also have Twitch integrated into them. Like I have a Elgato Capture HD card,
Hmm.
and as soon as you bring up the dashboard, you can stream right to Twitch without any setup or anything. Like that's integrated into the programming of the software. So where does that leave those two companies? So it's
True,
going to be
true.
interesting going forward.
Okay, and then what was it? The acquisition was told in at 970 million. Whew, man. Hey, they had the money. They had the money. So I mean that the changes. That's the one thing that I'm anticipating. I'm like, what's gonna happen? But stay tuned. Like leave your comments below. I mean, we're always open to discuss. These what if scenarios with the industry, because Amazon purchasing a streaming site will also affect gaming and also affect hardware, like Denizo was saying. So these are things to think about. All right, but moving on to the next topic of discussion: Capcom, infamous Capcom. Now, before most of you like this news is coming from EventHubs.com, and it's over a lawsuit with Koei Tecmo for $9.43 million, with 2 patent infringement claims and 50 titles. Now, here's my thing. Now, Capcom, a little bit of history if for the 09ers and after. There was a company called, well, it was Data East, right? With Fighters
Based on
History.
Yeah, Data East.
Yeah, okay. Data East got sued to high hell, just like Sony was taking Bleem to court. And it wasn't that, like, for instance, Bleem, that company that developed Bleem, Sony couldn't win in court, but they kept taking them to court, and then they couldn't pay the fee, so that pretty much killed, them. Now, as far as Data East, there was a whole thing, and Anomaly used to have me cracking up with this. Like, they were wheeling out TVs with Super Nintendos and Neo Geos or whatever, and Capcom was claiming that, oh yeah, it's a direct ripoff of Street Fighter and so on and so forth, and you know, Data East is no more. Now it looks
Well,
like,
it's not because of that though. Like
well,
Data
that
East
that
won
that
that
played.
lawsuit.
What's that?
Data East won that lawsuit because there have been subsequent Fighters history games out there.
Yeah,
and that essentially
Dynamite
set,
and all that.
yeah, that essentially set the stage for the court saying, okay, you don't own the rights to the fighting game genre. So that pretty much opened the floodgates for the Street Fighter clone genre in the 90s. But yeah, I see what you're saying about that.
Because if you look at it, it's like, okay, Capcom, yes, they're like the godfather of the fighting game genre. And when the Data East issue popped up, they're like, hey, somebody's trying to cut in on our territory. So what's the natural thing to do? Take it to court, right? So
Yeah,
now there's a big
th-
fight or whatever, you know what I mean? And then, like you said, Data East won that lawsuit, just like Bleem won their lawsuits, but they couldn't keep up with the going to court all the time, But
yeah, but
yeah,
the two lawsuits that Capcom is bringing is just totally stupid because of this is just a pure money grab because of how bad of a financial situation that Capcom is in. Because
there you go, there you go.
let's look at these lawsuits. The first one is saying that they're suing over the concept of expansion packs, like combining, like adding an exist. It's just stupid. Expansion packs have existed before 2002 when Capcom is making this claim against the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's real stupid. And the second one is just even more absurd. Like control, like vibrating function for when enemies are nearby. I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's
You know what?
existed in.
This is all on the heels of, like you said, the financial situation that they're in, and then they see a lawsuit and any little thing, this is making Capcom look bad as a corporation.
And it's not even like
it's desperate.
it's a significant chunk of money from a corporation standpoint. The lawsuits is for like total $10 million, and $10 million to a lot of corporations is like a drop in a bucket. That's like the budget of a game these days. So I'm like, come on, Capcom, really? Is this what we're doing now?
Yep,
I
yep.
mean, like you've got like seriously, you've got games like Kenji Ifumi's new game coming out. You've got the maker of Mega Man, who essentially crowdfunded his game because Capcom wouldn't make his game. So now they've got Mighty Number Nine breathing down their backs.
Hmm.
They've got fucking Killer Instinct breathing down their back, tearing up on Xbox One. You've
Hmm.
got freaking it's just real stupid by Capcom. They're just trying everything. This is like the last ditch effort before you know a company's about to go out of business or get broken up and sold off,
Yeah.
because they're suing over frivolous things. They're looking for money anywhere they can find it now.
Yep, yep. So Nelson, what are your thoughts on this whole Koei Tecmo lawsuit? Because you see, this lawsuit kind of, because Koei Tecmo has some franchises that could have been like prime for a crossover, but now there's gonna be bad blood with the two companies because Capcom's going after them. But
I
Nelson,
mean,
what are your thoughts on that?
plus Koei Tecmo just came out with Hyrule Warriors, which is Zelda and
In
Dynasty Warriors
Dynasty Warriors,
combined,
yeah.
and that's like doing great business in Japan, and like it's got a lot of pre-order sales in the United States, and it's like Capcom sees this and they're like, fuck, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, yeah. But Nelson, you got the floor. What are your thoughts on that whole lawsuit bullshit?
Well, I think it's kind of ridiculous, as you mentioned, because of the fact that Capcom is in a huge financial deficit, and the fact that they're trying to jump the gun because Ultra Street Fighter 4 ain't doing it for them. Dead Rising 3 ain't doing it for them no more. They
Yeah,
only
Dead
have like
Rising 3, yo, I'm glad I didn't buy that game. Like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling
I
it
mean, don't
really.
get me
Like,
wrong, the game is good to its aspect of core players, but it's not gonna hit like an entire like audience. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's only fitted for its its viewing audience. I liked the game because it had like some depth to it, but that's a whole another story for another time. But regardless, though, Capcom relied on several games that was gonna attempt for them to make the money that they needed. They lost it, and they try to invest into other things and they lost that too. So what are they doing? They're trying to attack meaningless and stupid companies that doesn't need to get themselves involved in this matter, and now they're being accused of like things that might not even be like that serious. Even if
Mm.
it is expansion packs, even if it is some type of vibration control junction or whatever. Let me put it to you this way, okay? Every company, no matter what, all right, every company is going to steal an idea from someone else and try to either mirror it or try to make it better. So they could claim it as their own and become the new
Mm.
originators of that, whatever it may be. They've been doing it since the whole console war concept got mixed up with the whole Microsoft and Sony. And just a quick little comparison, you have the Xbox One and you have the PlayStation 4. Both consoles are both trying to equally mirror each other with apps, gaming, and online. They're to the point you're not going to even tell the goddamn difference. So
Yep, I said that. I said that before.
so what?
But
Why is it Capcom going to this length and freaking worried sick about getting money when they should be worrying about their stock shareholders for not letting go their so-called IP titles to be bought out? That's what they should be concerned about right now. Not about this
you know what
little,
I think? Yeah. Go ahead, Nelson. I
No, no,
didn't
no,
mean
no. I'm
to
done.
cut
I'm
you off.
done. I'm good.
What I think Capcom really needs right now, not lawsuits, but partnerships. Make friends with people. You know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is like, oh, I'm the big bad Capcom when you're drowning and somebody can stick their hand out and pull you out of the water. Right now is the best time for Capcom to start fucking listening and stop trying to sue. You know what I mean? Their priorities and whoever is really running that entity right now completely is nothing. That this Capcom that we know now is just like the Majin Buu saga. Like, Fat Buu spit out this whatever the shit is, and then it ate him, and then it's just all big and bad. You know what I mean? This is damn. They went the wrong course of action. I think what they should have done was, had a PR rep from different companies come to an agreement. I mean, there's no reason to let it go that far. But then again, we're only reading excerpts of the news. We don't know if there's something behind the scenes, but you know what? It's just a bad look on Capcom's part
Dude,
for
it's
going
a
that
pure
route.
money grab because in addition to the 10 million they're trying to get like 5 to 10% in
Yeah, yeah, the
licensing
percentage.
fees. I'm like, so that's like a money grab. They're like, hey, in addition to the money that we want, we gonna pimp you for 10% of your profits, yo. That's
Man,
just,
they effed up big time on that. But
and
um,
that's why I didn't buy Ultra Street Fighter 4, man. It's just like, really, Capcom? How many Street Fighter 4s do we need?
well, to be honest with you, Street Fighter Ultra 4, I'm enjoying it, but I've been playing a lot more Killer Instinct. Like that, Nelson will tell you, I'm getting my ass kicked, but I'm getting better. Like it's something new, you know what I mean? And as far as
I'm not.
Capcom
I'm
just
not
needs to step
saying.
their game up right
I'm
now.
not saying it's a bad game. It's just an unnecessary game. You know.
Well, what they need to do is bring back those franchises that I've been preaching about, like Power Stone, Onimusha, and the list goes on. You know what I mean? Like Mega Man, shit. They're sitting on things that people want. I'm sure Alpha Omega Sin, if you go to check out one of his videos when he was ranting about how Capcom was canceling Mega Man games like Legends and all this other stuff, had everybody's hopes up, and then you just unplug it. I know that R&D team that was developing the game, if they still have the remnants or the SD kits or whatever that was left over from that prototype, even if they need a Kickstarter or something, bring that project back and do
Well,
something
that's
right,
what that's what Mega Man Legends essentially was. It essentially became Mighty Number Nine because the dude left, did his own
Inafune,
thing.
yeah.
He's like, hey, I want to do what I started at Capcom, but I don't own the rights to Mega Man, but I have this Mega Man like idea because
Yeah.
if you look at the game, you can tell it's
It's
essentially
Mega Man in spirit, so
yeah.
we get that.
And like the crowd ate it up. They was like, "Here, take our money now," and the game got developed and it's coming out. So
All right, all right. Now moving on to I guess my final topic before we add some stuff to the end. Bandai Namco is making a new Marvel licensed video game, full length trailer for Disc Wars Avengers Ultimate Heroes. Now, also provided by EventHubs.com, and I was looking at the little thumbnail, and I love how Bandai Namco had their own interpretations of like Captain America, Hulk. I mean, they look more Japanese, if anything. Like Captain America has that Captain Falcon look to him. You know what I mean? And being that it's gonna be a mobile game, and I mean, I would say, Demiso, you had said some time back that mobile gaming is going to be like a mainstay going forward. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on Bandai getting I don't know if it's a temporary license. Is this the reason why Capcom lost the Marvel license again? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've seen a few episodes of the anime that this is based on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's essentially like Beyblade. Like they call out like kids with discs and everything, call out the various Marvel superheroes like the Avengers and crap to fight villains and stuff. So this is who that's aimed for. It's not like your traditional Marvel fighter or anything like that. So don't get your
Mm-hmm.
hopes up. But
Like what?
I
Like Digimon or something or
essentially
Yu-Gi-Oh?
that. It's
Okay.
essentially the Marvel version of Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh or something like of that nature. So
Uh-huh.
it's aimed at like the 8 to 11-year-old kid who's interested in Marvel universe, but is not like a fighting game fan. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what that is. But it
Okay.
is what it is. I can't really say whether it's gonna be a good or a bad game, but it's not my cup of tea because I don't get into card games like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nelson, what are your thoughts on that before we go into shift into whatever else we want to cover before we wrap up?
Well, the game that you speak of is not a mobile game, it's a 3DS title. The one that you're speaking
Oh,
about. They
okay.
also have another one which is a mobile game, which is generally like an actual fighting game for Androids and tablets and stuff like that. But the one that you speak about, I mean, it's a good idea. I did see, like the thumbnail as you stated on Event Hubs. It looks pretty cool. Though I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a Nintendo 3DS due to, reasons of like games are not interesting me right now, and plus financial situation. But regardless of the point, I'm wondering why Marvel, or I should say, not Marvel, why did Disney give Namco Bandai rights to do this game?
It's simple.
Maybe
It's
maybe they're
money. Like
headed for a target audience or something, you know?
they saw the money that stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade, Pokemon, all that stuff brought in, and they're like, why not us too?
But but
Like
but here's the thing though, if that's the case, why did they shut down the project for the consoles? Why did you shut down Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3? They could have been an expansion off of that game. They could have been an update for that series. They could have even possibly been a fourth Marvel game. Or even bringing back the old Versus series as a bigger collection edition. But instead, Disney cut the fucking project and they neutralized it to the point where they can only grasp it for themselves. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys realize, but they're making a Marvel Infinity game. I don't know if
Marvel
you got.
well,
Infinity?
Yeah, it's
I can tell
basically
you.
you ever saw the game Disney Infinity where they had like a bunch of Disney characters and you collect the figurines and you could download them into the game and use them.
Really?
Same concept, but with Marvel characters.
Interesting.
I can
Okay.
tell you exactly why they pulled it from the consoles. It's because if you look it up, like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like as popular as it is within the fighting game community, didn't sell a lot of games. It sold less than 500,000 units. So
But the thing is though, it's not just Ultimate Marvel. It's also Deadpool. There's also Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, and also many other Marvel titles. They
yeah, but Cap
probably don't do good in certain aspect of what they want to see in numbers per
Uh,
se, but that's one of the most highest played games. Okay, in the fighting game community, right next to Street Fighter. Like they go almost neck and neck, especially with the
Yeah, but
viewing count. Like I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why Disney would be so fucking stupid to cut a certain portion of their profits off when it could be generating more money, but yet they want to be selfish and make it only for their uses and their I guess their way of viewing it to like younger children.
yeah, but
You know what I
look,
think? Can I interject for a second? I think, and I even remember Capcom saying it, like fighting games aren't profitable. Like it's like unless you're doing DLC, like you put the fighting game out, and once it's sold, it's sold. The replay, that's I mean, the for instance, remember how long Third Strike Life was going? Like more than 10 years. You know what I mean? Folks still were playing it, but once that initial sale was put out there, what kind of money was Capcom making? You know what I mean? Hey, you enjoy our game, but we're not making no money after you already bought it. You know what I mean? So I guess Disney is trying to look at maximizing profit and say, hey, you know what? Cut this
yeah,
off,
but
bam.
But
Let's
then
move on
look
to
at
the
it
okay,
like
next.
this, Nelson. Like, I like fighting games, but you have to realize, like, the fighting game community, as compared to other demographics, is like a small, almost minuscule drop in the bucket when you compare it to the audience of Pokemon, of Yu-Gi-Oh, of your Beyblades. I mean, look at stuff like Disney Infinite. Like, that's outsold Ultra Street Fighter 4 like 5 times over.
that
And
I
Ultra Street,
understand. That I understand.
it's like they're trying. It's a simple like trying to maximize their profits with the license. Because let's be real here. Like the Marvel license is a very profitable and hot license because you got the movies coming out like Guardians of the Galaxy is doing gangbusters. Like it's a great movie and it's doing like big business.
Gangbusters, what?
I don't know what you talking about, but
Yo,
it's doing.
what the heck? Oh, continue.
This is not. Well, I can't say it's a family show, but it's not that kind of show.
But
Man, hey,
um,
we go back old school, cussing and
but
left and right, and like F this.
yeah, but like Marvel's like a very very profitable license, and fighting games don't bring in the money for Disney because like if you look at the best selling fighting game right now, it's Mortal Kombat. Like the best selling series right now is Mortal Kombat, and Warner Brothers, they own the Mortal Kombat license. And Disney, like, even though that is the most profitable fighting game series right now, it still only appeals to a very small segment of the entire demographic. Because let's be real, the fighting game community is mainly composed of male players aged 15 to 35. And
That's
like
accurate.
me, Alex, and you are on the outer fringes of that demographic. I'm 33, Alex is 34, you're
Why you put me
28.
out there, Dave? That's not true, by the way. All right, I am 25 years old.
bullshit.
But we're on the outer edges of that demographic. We
You on
make
the
up
outer
a
edges.
we make up a small portion of the fighting game community. Like the fighting game community is like this much of the actual gaming demographic. Whereas you got Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade, and games of that nature, they do hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business because they have that 5-year-old to 13-year-old demographic, male and female.
And you know what? Dave is 100% right. And not to mention when they do those rare card prints, like remember the Mewtwo cards that they only had like how many in circulation? You know how many people are buying the decks just to try to find that card? You know what I mean? So it's like that's their version of DLC or whatever, but it's kind of mixed with like a marketing ploy to say, hey, you know what? Keep buying. Hey, I got another,
Yeah,
Charizard or Jigglypuff card or whatnot. But you see how
exactly.
much money they're raking in?
Yeah,
It's not the
Exactly.
same for
Look at
fighters.
Disney Infinite. Like to like get started in that game, it costs $200. You got the game and you got the little board thing and you got like I think it's 5 or 6 characters that you plug into the board and play the game. And they're just now incorporating Marvel characters into Disney Infinite 2.0. So each 2 characters that you buy, that's $10 that's going to Disney. Like, and there's dozens of characters out there that you can buy. So they're making money after the life of the sale of the game. With a fighting game, unless they constantly pump out DLC, which they don't, like, cause come on,
Killer
let's be real.
Instinct is the only exception, and I believe Killer Instinct did it right. And watch,
No, but
watch Street Fighter 5. It's gonna be just like that. They're gonna
you
piece
can
the game out. Watch.
yeah, but you can buy the whole Killer Instinct game for $20 or $40 if you want to get the Killer Instinct one.
But watch, it's gonna turn into seasons. Like they're gonna find a way to say, hey, like Nelson will tell you when we had a competitor ask, hey, what's the success of NMO? Like how do they do it? You know what I mean? That's what Capcom is doing. This is what all the other companies are doing. Like, how do we get fighting games to generate consistent revenue? And Killer Instinct did it right.
That is
During the
true.
season.
They are doing it right, but the also, like I said, to kind of stray away off of like the gaming itself. I just didn't like the move that Disney pulled because yeah, you yanked out Marvel for particular gaming to put it into gaming that will benefit you, such as like Disney Infinity and stuff like that. But they still are kind of killing off Marvel slowly to of what they want Marvel to look like. And what I mean by that is because you can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't read comics in some time, but correct me if I'm wrong. I heard just recently they killed off Wolverine permanently. He is
No,
done.
it's like it's Death of Superman. It's just like it's its own thing.
No, I heard like there's no more comics of him ever. Like that's it. Wolverine is over.
That's not gonna
more,
last.
No more
very
Wolverine
long
movies.
because, like,
No more
they
Wolverine
did it.
books. No nothing.
That's not gonna last very long because you got X-Men movies coming down the pipe and like.
But
just
that's
like
not by
Batman.
Disney though. That's by a
No,
whole
but
different company that's using the Marvel license like for that little temporary slot.
no, like but Marvel, like DC, like DC Batman is their franchise character,
Mhm.
and they would never kill him off long term. Like they would never kill off the character of Bruce Wayne long term because they not recently, but they did do a R.I.P. Batman storyline, and Bruce Wayne was dead for 6 months, real time, and there was no Bruce Wayne in the DC universe, and like the Batman comic book sales went way down because of it, because that's their flagship character. And the same thing holds true for Marvel. Like Wolverine is their flagship character. He is the
I
reason
wouldn't
why
say
people
that.
buy X-Men
I wouldn't.
comics.
It depends. I agree and I disagree. I wouldn't say they're flagship characters. They're the ones that people know. Like this. You said that Batman is DC's flagship character. That's not true. That's going to be a discussion for another podcast because we'll be here well over an hour. So it's more like no, it's safe to say Wolverine and Batman are the ones that people just like, hey, like they pop out. So I just wanted to kind of steer it a little bit, but yeah,
But they're not going to kill him off permanently. There's going to be a storyline where they bring him back eventually. Like they
look at
bought
Captain America. Remember Captain America? A sniper
Yeah.
bullet, like really, and then he ends up coming back. So it's not gonna last. The missile is
Like
100% correct.
death in comic books is never permanent. Like they've killed off Jean Grey like so many times, it's ridiculous. They killed off Cyclops so many times, it's ridiculous.
What's the juggernaut, Pat?
But the thing is, though, I'm
So-
not just talking about through the widespread of comics. I'm talking about like, period. Not in comics. I'm talking about action figures. I'm talking about movies, cartoons, any involvement. They said they wanted to pull the plug on Wolverine because one, he was way too oversaturated, and Disney feels that he is not the character for children. They rather have Hulk. They rather have Captain America. They rather have
Because
Spider-Man.
Wolverine is a gruesome character. Like, for
They
instance,
they
remember the
may
game?
feel that way, but as
Yeah,
soon as like comic book fans and people who watch the movies go like, "Where's Wolverine?" Because Wolverine is like a. It's not like you can. It's not like he's some lesser known character that they can just get rid of and fade out to the background. As
yeah.
soon as those sales start to plummet, as soon as those, where's Wolverine? Why are the X Men comics not selling? Why are people not watching the X Men? Uh, car- Cartoon. Why are people not interested in our product anymore? They're gonna be like, we gotta bring them back because it's just a simple matter of like money is gonna take over perception. It's gonna take over what they want to do from an image perspective because money talks. Plain
Financial
and simple.
survival. Financial survival. That's what that is. That's what that is. All right, but that pretty much concludes our topics. But anything you want to add on, like in short, before we, you know, log off for the night?
Well,
Demizzle?
a few things. First thing is Sony just recently passed the 10 million mark of PlayStation 4 sold worldwide, so good for them on that. And they themselves have said this is an interesting problem to have because they have no idea who their audience is. They have no idea who these people are buying that are buying these PlayStation 4s. Like they had no expectations of selling this many units this fast. So it's going to be an interesting problem. It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with in terms of ways that they address this newfound audience that they have, like this explosion of new users, because they did a study and like uh it was like these new people that own PS4s didn't own uh previous gen console. They didn't own a PlayStation 3, they didn't own an Xbox 360, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't own a Nintendo Wii. So you may have to assume that these new PlayStation 4 users are PC game converts. Like, so how do they appeal to these people? Because PC gamers are kind of a different breed than console gamers, so to speak, because the main games on PCs are like RTSs and MOBAs and MMOs, stuff like that. Because you got your Hearthstones, you got your League of Legends games, you got your World of Warcraft. So PC gamers are mainly into those types of games, as well as the massive multiplayer online first-person shooter like
Mm-hmm.
Planet Side. So it's going to be interesting to see how they address that.
Mm-hmm. They need more
Second,
games though
yeah,
on that
like
system.
I'll readily admit that I plan on getting a PlayStation 4, but they have nothing I want right now. Like nothing they've shown me. Like I was excited for the Order 1886, but as I saw more of it, I became less interested in it. So I want to get your take on that, Alex. What do you think of this interesting problem that Sony, like this interesting predicament that Sony has found themselves in, rather?
Well, you know what? Like, I said on one of the solo videos I did that the only reason why my PS4 is here is because it wasn't just to prove a point to our audience. I'm not a fanboy, but I own both systems. I find myself using the X1 more. I mean, like I even mentioned that I'm pretty sure Second Son and Last of Us remastered, which I was gonna hit like, hey, why you gotta do a game for last generation, redo it for this one, and then try to sell it? It's not fair to these people who already bought the title. But it works out for me because that's another reason why I'll keep that PS4 sitting to my right. But I just feel that, like you said, like I'm one of the 10 million folks that purchase and it's just sitting here. I want more. And when Guilty Gear, XR come out, it sucks that's I don't know if it's a time exclusive or whatnot, but that'll breathe life into my PS4 right now. But they just need to deliver the games. They have a big install base, but it's just like someone subscribing to a YouTube channel. You can have like 20,000 people, but how many people are constantly coming back to watch? You know what I'm saying? So they got these units. Like, what are they doing with it? I still see more activity on the 360 and the X1, but I have it, and I want games that are going to tickle my fancy and get me playing that console. So it's up to Sony right now to, handle this dilemma and find that niche that Nintendo did with the Wii. Like, hey, they had the extremely casual individuals, and that's why the Wii was selling like hotcakes. So yeah, you got these many people out there, but who's your audience? It's just too broad, too general. It's too many out there. So it's an interesting. I wouldn't say it's a major dilemma, but
Yeah, it's
it
not a
remains to be
bad
seen.
problem to have. It's just an interesting problem to have.
Yep.
All
So
right, Nelson,
that's
man,
all I got on that one.
what do you think about Sony's interesting problem that they find themselves in?
Well, I mean, they sold that many units, they're not going to be able to isolate exactly what kind of audience that they hit unless they do like a worldwide survey. But I doubt they're going to go like that far to find out like what kind of sales, unless if they get like sales from different stores and just try to make like a rough estimate. The thing is, what Alex was saying about having both consoles or wheels being biased towards one company or whatever, that's not the case. Some people may be in financial differences. One console might cost more than the other. But the way how we all work within this company, with a new gaming order, we go what appeals to us directly based on features, based on games that we like, not by a whole thing like, okay, Destiny's coming out as AAA title, we must get that. No, that's not the case. It's more like we get games what we want. Like me, I got the one because of the fact, not for gaming only, but the fact that look what we're doing now. We're on Skype and we're broadcasting this live directly to YouTube. PlayStation 4 can't do that right now. PlayStation 4 can't do integration with TV and gaming simultaneously, or the Snap feature simultaneously right now, or the conjunction of many other things that the X1 can do. Sony's still kind of far behind, but they also have apps that the X1 don't, and it's vice versa. It's all in a matter of preference, and I have my preference of playing the X1, though I do want a PS4 for Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. I want it for Guilty Gear Xrd. From what I hear, it is an exclusive to the console because they're gonna do it also for the PlayStation
I think
3
that's
to be
bullshit.
cross-platform. So
They need to release it on the other console, but it's whatever. I'm sorry, I just had to
yeah.
throw that in there.
Also the Last of Us, I have to get it again because it looks way better in 60 frames per second. Makes a huge difference, I have to say. Infamous, The Second Son, and the expansion DLC. I don't know what the hell it's called though, but that game. Also, the playable teaser, aka Silent Hills. Oh my god. If you want to see something crazy graphically cool, but something to scare the shit out of you, you must play that demo. And Alex, since you're the only one out of the group right now that has a PS4, you should download the PT demo and sit there and try to play it and tell me you won't get fucking scared. I
All
could
right, once we
promise
log
you.
off, I'll check it out. The demo's out right now.
It's been out for some time now. It's by far the scariest game, period.
Well, hey, a reason to hook up that PS4 again. So I'll definitely check it out.
But
But
Yeah, like
but to wrap up my little news now, of course, quick announcements. We are going to now do our podcast directly to the YouTube live event. So people who are watching this on YouTube right now are seeing it live. But once this broadcast goes off, it's going to process and it's going to be uploaded immediately to YouTube directly. No more Twitch swapping out with all this, highlight cutting and pasting because they had a little problem and it took up too much time. So we're going to be doing only our podcasting and any other related events such as, let's say, Mugen content or anything else. It'll be directly to YouTube. We'll still have our Twitch stream base going on for when we do casual play, probably like house hangouts or events that if we do go to Evo next year, you'll definitely see us on Twitch, just doing whatever NGO style. And of course, just keep supporting the channel and, yeah.
alrighty. Now, for the sake of time, I know that there was going to be some WWE content that we're going to cover, but we can probably do that, break it up and do it in another segment. But for the good of the group, I just wanted to say thank you for those of you who tuned in. We'll be back next week. And then, like I said, for the other segment on the WWE and UFC stuff, we'll have that on a separate podcast. But again, thanks for your support. Make sure to continue to donate. And also, those of you who've been consistent viewers, I have upgraded y'all statuses to VIP status. So the more you view, the higher your status will go, and then that's where it's an easier way to manage the giveaways. So right now, Shin Takuma is like number one right now. So I'm like, all right, hey, good stuff. So hey, the more you view, the more you'll be rewarded. So that's how we're gonna start implementing the reward system into our audience base. So keep tuning in, and with that, we out. Anything before we go, guys?
No, that's it.
All right,
I
see
gotta
y'all
plug
next
my
week.
own channel.
Oh yeah,
Make sure y'all. I renamed the channel in case y'all don't know. It's called the Free Play Mode, so make sure y'all tune into that. It's still the same YouTube address, and I also have my Twitch TV streaming. It's Twitch TV / D-Man for Life 12 1980, and just stay tuned for that. Receive updates. I stream pretty much anything that I have at my library right now, which is currently UFC, Forza 5, and a bunch of other crap. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
all right. So make sure we get a plug too on free play. All right.
Dude, it says right there on the free
I
on the
know,
free
I
play
know, I
mode
know.
channel. It's like free play mode and NGO presents D-Man for Life plays.
That Dave, that's what you call ball busting. I was fucking with you. All right, guys. We'll see you next week on the New Gaming Order podcast. Show.
All
Peace.
right.